Imagine a book hidden away for centuries, said to hold the secrets of the gods. A book so powerful that it can grant knowledge beyond human understanding, the power to speak with animals, to perceive the divine, to unlock the very structure of the universe. This is the legendary Book of Thoth, a mysterious text that vanished from history. It has fascinated scholars, mystics, and seekers of knowledge for thousands of years. But to truly grasp the importance of the Book of Thoth, we must journey back in time to ancient Egypt, a civilization built on the foundation of cosmic order, divine law, and a profound respect for knowledge. To understand this book's power, we must first understand the god to whom it was attributed, a god whose wisdom was unmatched, whose knowledge was boundless, the god Thoth. Ancient Egypt, one of the world's oldest and most captivating civilizations, a land born from the fertile banks of the Nile, where the harsh desert meets the life-giving waters, and a people who, thousands of years ago, crafted an empire that would leave a legacy for millennia to come. But Egypt was more than a powerful civilization. It was a world filled with mystery, ritual, and a deep belief in forces beyond the visible. To understand why knowledge was so revered in Egypt, why the pursuit of wisdom was both sacred and dangerous, we must journey back to the dawn of Egyptian civilization, to the roots of their beliefs, and to their Pantheon of Gods, where each deity was an embodiment of natural and cosmic forces. Egypt's identity was forged by the Nile River, flowing over 4,000 miles from deep in Africa to the Mediterranean Sea. The Nile provided a fertile oasis in an otherwise harsh desert. Its annual floods brought nutrients to the land, turning arid soil into fertile ground. These seasonal floods were life-giving and predictable, yet still beyond human control. For the ancient Egyptians, this cycle represented the divine order of life, a balance between abundance and survival, a gift from the gods. Egyptian society was shaped by this rhythm. The Egyptians learned early on to read nature's signs, to look for omens in the river's rise, the wind's patterns, and the behavior of animals. This closeness with nature cultivated a belief in divine forces that governed life and death, creation and destruction. And out of this, their gods were born. The Nile was not just a river, it was a divine presence, associated with the god Hapi, who brought life through the flooding waters. The sun, rising and setting each day, was personified in Ra, the sun god, who was believed to travel across the sky in a celestial boat, fighting off chaos each night before rising again in victory. The Egyptians saw the world around them as teeming with divine forces that maintained the universe's balance, a concept they called Maat. Maat was more than just an order. It was a principle that permeated all things, from the turning of the seasons to the behavior of individuals. Maat was truth, justice, and balance, and it was the duty of both gods and humans to uphold it. This worldview laid the foundation for everything Egyptians valued and feared, from life's everyday cycles to the mysteries of the afterlife. Understanding Maat and the forces that governed the universe became one of the highest pursuits in Egyptian society. Egyptian civilization evolved over thousands of years, and during this time, their beliefs about the gods grew ever more complex. The Egyptians did not have just one god, but a vast pantheon, each deity representing different aspects of the world and the forces within it. Some gods were creators, others were protectors, and some even symbolized destruction. Together, they formed a complex tapestry of divine influence. Ra, the sun god, was one of the earliest and most powerful deities. As the bringer of light, Ra was seen as the source of life and the protector against chaos. He was believed to travel across the sky by day and journey through the underworld by night, battling the chaos serpent Apep, who threatened to swallow the sun and plunge the world into darkness. Ra's daily triumph was a reassurance that order would prevail over chaos. Osiris, the god of the afterlife, represented death and resurrection. He was once a king on earth, a according to Egyptian myth, who was murdered by his brother Set, the god of chaos and storms. Osiris's body was reassembled and resurrected by his wife Isis, and he became the ruler of the underworld, a symbol of rebirth and eternal life. His story taught the Egyptians that death was not the end, but a transformation, a journey into the afterlife, where one could be reborn. Horus, the falcon-headed god, was the son of Osiris and Isis. After Osiris's death, Horus avenged his father by defeating Set in a great battle. Horus became the symbol of kingship, and each pharaoh was considered his earthly embodiment. The story of Osiris and Horus represented the eternal struggle between order and chaos, life and death. Isis, the wife of Osiris, was revered as the goddess of magic, healing, and protection. She was a symbol of motherhood, compassion, and devotion. Her magic was so powerful that she could resurrect her husband, bring life to the dead, and protect her son Horus against all odds. But among all these gods, there was one whose wisdom surpassed them all, whose knowledge encompassed both the mortal and divine realms: Thoth. In ancient Egyptian mythology, Thoth was no ordinary deity. Known as Jehuti to the Egyptians, he was the god of wisdom, writing, magic, and the moon. Thoth was believed to have invented the hieroglyphic script, a form of writing so sacred that its symbols carried divine power. Each hieroglyph held multiple meanings, both literal and symbolic. And the act of writing was considered an act of creation, one that connected the mortal world to the realm of the gods. Thoth was often depicted with the head of an ibis, a bird sacred to him, or as a baboon, another animal closely associated with wisdom. He held a stylus and a scroll, symbols of his role as the scribe of the gods. In Egyptian belief, Thoth recorded the actions and judgments of the gods, serving as the keeper of divine knowledge. He was not just the god of scribes and scholars, he was the one responsible for preserving Maat, the principle of cosmic balance, truth, and order. Without Maat, the Egyptians believed chaos would reign. But Thoth's role extended far beyond recording events. He was a mediator between the gods and humanity, a creator god who had established the laws of the universe and maintained their balance. His wisdom was seen as boundless, his knowledge as the foundation of all things. And it was said that somewhere, hidden away and guarded by powerful spells, was the ultimate repository of his knowledge, the Book of Thoth. The book is described in ancient Egyptian texts as containing spells, secrets, and insights that only the most enlightened could understand. But with this wisdom came a warning. The book was both powerful and perilous, a gift and a curse. Those who sought it risked madness, ruin, or worse. Over time, the legend of the Book of Thoth grew. It became a symbol of forbidden knowledge, an idea that inspired awe and fear alike. But what was actually in this book? What secrets did it hold? And why did it hold such a powerful grip on the imagination of ancient Egypt? The myth of the Book of Thoth. One of the most well-known stories involving the Book of Thoth is the tale of Setna Khamwas, a prince of Egypt and the son of Pharaoh Ramses II. Setna Khamwas was not only a prince but also a priest and a scholar, deeply interested in the occult and forbidden knowledge. In Egyptian lore, Setna heard of the Book of Thoth and became consumed by a desire to possess it. The book was said to be hidden deep within a tomb, guarded by the spirit of Naneferkaptar, a powerful scribe who had once held the book and paid a heavy price for it. According to the story, Setna braved the tomb's dangers, determined to claim the book for himself. As he entered, he was met by the spirit of Naneferkaptar, who warned him of the book's dangers. Naneferkaptar told Setna of his own tragic experience with the book. He had found it, used its spells, and unlocked its secrets, but he had been cursed as a result, losing his family and his life. Despite these warnings, Setna's ambition drove him forward. He ignored the spirit's caution and seized the book, hoping to wield its power for himself. But he soon found that the book's promises were not without consequences. Setna's life became haunted by terrifying visions, and supernatural occurrences, a punishment for his hubris and disregard for the divine order. In the end, he was forced to return the book to the tomb, a humbled man who had learned the dangers of seeking forbidden knowledge. This story of Setna Khamwas and the Book of Thoth is one of Egypt's most enduring legends. It serves as a cautionary tale, a reminder that some wisdom is reserved for the gods and that mortal hands are often unfit to wield it. But beyond the myth, what was actually in this book? What kind of knowledge was so powerful, so dangerous, that even a prince would be warned against seeking it? The contents of the Book of Thoth. The Book of Thoth is often described as containing spells of incredible power, spells that give the reader abilities beyond ordinary human comprehension. Two spells in particular were said to stand out above the rest. The first spell was the ability to understand the language of animals. In ancient Egypt, animals were not merely creatures of the earth, they were divine symbols, each representing a different aspect of the gods and the universe. The ibis, Thoth's sacred bird, symbolizes knowledge and intellect. The lion, associated with Sekhmet, represented strength and protection. The falcon, linked to Horus, was a symbol of kingship and divine power. To understand the language of animals was to unlock a new realm of perception. This spell would allow the reader to interpret signs and omens in the natural world and to see warnings and insights that were hidden from the uninitiated. Imagine the power of hearing an animal's warning of an impending storm or an invasion, or of knowing when the Nile would flood or when the seasons would change. Such knowledge was invaluable in a world that depended on agriculture, the Nile's cycles, and a deep connection with nature. The second spell was even more profound. It granted the reader the power to see the gods themselves, to perceive their true forms, and to communicate with them directly. In Egyptian belief, the gods were not always visible to mortals. They existed in a realm beyond ordinary perception, and to interact with them required intense spiritual preparation. To see a god was to witness a power beyond human comprehension, a force so immense that it could overwhelm or even destroy a mortal. But for those who could master this spell, the rewards were extraordinary. To communicate with the gods meant gaining their favor, receiving guidance, and understanding their will. This connection with the divine was the ultimate goal for many Egyptian priests and mystics who sought to align their lives with Maat, the cosmic order established by the gods. Yet, as the story of Setna Khamwas warns, this power could come at a great cost: the mysteries of creation and cosmic balance. Beyond spells, the Book of Thoth was believed to contain teachings on the nature of the universe itself. The Egyptians saw the cosmos as a complex, ordered system governed by Maat. Maat was more than a concept. It was a divine force that ensured the harmony of the cosmos. Without Maat, there would be Isfet, the chaotic force that threatened to undo creation. Thoth, as the guardian of Maat, was responsible for maintaining this cosmic balance. The Book of Thoth would likely have contained insights into the nature of creation, the structure of the universe, and the principles that governed existence. It would explain how Maat was established from the chaos, how the gods worked to preserve it, and how humans could align themselves with this divine order. This alignment was crucial for Egyptian life. Every action, every ritual, every decision was meant to reflect Maat, to support the balance that kept the cosmos functioning. In the teachings of the Book of Thoth, the reader would learn how to live a life in harmony with Maat, to avoid bringing chaos into the world. By understanding Maat, they would understand their place within the greater cosmic scheme, the nature of the soul and the afterlife. Egyptian beliefs about the soul were complex and deeply connected to the journey after death. They believed the soul was not a single entity, but a collection of parts, each with specific roles and attributes. These parts included the Ka, the Ba, the AKH, and the Ren. The Ka was the life force, the essence that sustained a person. It needed nourishment, both in life and in death, and offerings were made to the Ka to ensure it remained strong. The Ba was the personality, the unique qualities that defined an individual. It was free to move between the earthly and spiritual realms, but it required protection to avoid becoming lost. The AKH represented the soul's transformation into a divine being. It was the ultimate goal of the soul, to become an AKH and join the gods. But achieving this state was not easy. The soul had to journey through the Duat, the Egyptian underworld, facing trials, demons, and challenges that tested its purity and worthiness. The most critical moment of this journey was the weighing of the heart. In this ceremony, the heart of the deceased was placed on a scale and weighed against the feather of Maat. A heart heavy with sin would tip the scale, condemning the soul to oblivion, but a heart balanced with truth and purity would allow the soul to pass into the afterlife. The Book of Thoth would have provided guidance on how to prepare the soul for these trials, and how to ensure that the heart was pure and worthy. It likely included spells, prayers, and instructions for navigating the afterlife, ensuring that the soul could reach the state of each and dwell with the gods. The language of symbols and hieroglyphs. In Egyptian belief, writing was a sacred act. Thoth was credited with creating the hieroglyphic script, a form of writing so powerful that its symbols held divine energy. Each hieroglyph was not merely a representation of an object or sound. It was a living symbol, filled with meaning and magic. The Book of Thoth would have included teachings on the use of hieroglyphs, revealing their hidden meanings and the ways they could be used in ritual and magic. Certain symbols, like the Ankh for life or the Di-Jed pillar for stability, held specific powers. The initiate who understood these symbols could use them to protect against evil, invoke divine assistance, or even alter reality. By mastering the language of hieroglyphs, the reader of the Book of Thoth would gain a tool for influencing the world around them. This sacred language was used not only in temple inscriptions, but also in amulets, tomb carvings, and ritual objects. It was a way to communicate with the gods, to express ideas that words alone could not convey. Divination and prophecy. The Egyptians practiced various forms of divination, using signs and omens to guide their decisions and understand the god's will. As the god of foresight, Thoth was associated with prophecy, and the Book of Thoth would have contained teachings on how to predict the future. Divination methods included reading the stars, interpreting dreams, and observing animal behavior. Thoth's connection to the moon and stars suggests that astrology was a key aspect of his teachings. The Book of Thoth would explain how to read these cosmic signs, providing the initiate with the ability to interpret events and align with a divine plan. The book's teachings on fate would also explore the concept of predestination and free will. Egyptians believed that the gods could see the entire course of time, that everything was part of a predetermined cosmic order. The Book of Thoth might offer ways to navigate this destiny, giving the reader insights into how to live in harmony with the divine plan. Alchemy and the transformation of matter. Though traditionally associated with later Greco-Roman practices, some scholars argue that the Book of Thoth included early teachings on alchemy. Egyptians viewed transformation as a natural and divine process, symbolized by Thoth's role as a creator god and regulator of cosmic order. The Book of Thoth would therefore contain insights into the transformation of both physical substances and spiritual essence. These teachings on alchemy would be symbolic as well as practical. The physical transformation of metals and substances, such as the transformation of base metals into gold, would serve as a metaphor for the purification and spiritual transformation of the soul. The initiate would learn methods for refining both physical materials and their own spiritual essence, achieving a state of purity that aligned with Maat. This blend of alchemical and spiritual practices exemplified the Egyptian view that physical and metaphysical realities were interconnected, and that mastery over one required mastery over the other. Scholarly perspectives on the Book of Thoth. The mystery of the Book of Thoth has drawn the attention of scholars and Egyptologists who have sought to understand its origins and significance. Researchers like Richard Jasnow and Carl Theodor Zalzich have examined ancient texts, particularly in Demotic script, that may reflect parts of the Book of Thoth. These scholars have discovered fragments that contain dialogues between a godlike figure and an initiate, discussing topics such as the nature of wisdom, scribal arts, and divine mysteries. Though no complete version of the Book of Thoth has been found, many Egyptologists believe that it existed as a compilation of sacred teachings rather than a single manuscript. Some suggest it was a collection of ritual and magical texts reserved for temple libraries, accessible only to the high priests and initiates of Thoth's cult. Others argue that it was an abstract concept, representing the complete wisdom attributed to Thoth, symbolizing an ideal rather than a physical text. Whether it was a real book or a legendary construct, the Book of Thoth remains a testament to Egypt's intellectual and spiritual legacy. The legacy and enduring mystery of the Book of Thoth. The Book of Thoth is a powerful symbol of humanity's quest for wisdom and the mysteries of life, death, and the universe. Its teachings, whether real or imagined, reflect the Egyptian view of knowledge as sacred, transformative, and capable of bridging the mortal and divine realms. Each element of the book, its spells, hieroglyphs, philosophical insights, and alchemical processes, represents a path toward enlightenment, embodying the Egyptian belief in the unity of knowledge, ethics, and spirituality through its mythological, mystical, and scholarly dimensions. The Book of Thoth continues to inspire those who seek the divine. It represents the timeless allure of hidden knowledge, a journey toward understanding that transcends human limitations and speaks to the universal longing for truth and enlightenment. Hope you like this documentary on the world's most mysterious book. If you like this, don't forget to like the video. And also, if you don't have to miss such videos, don't forget to subscribe to the channel.